It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
It is showtime. What's happening, everybody? I'm going to give you a standing ovation again. Yes, I am. Let's do it right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for watching the Geno Jones Show. So I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out in Los Angeles, on the West Coast, about 1:30 out in Hawaii. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones channel, and if you're watching me, then you probably have already subscribed. But tell everybody you know and don't know, strangers, aliens, folks you know very well, best friends, sorority sisters, fraternity brothers, folks that you like, that you love, that you ain't too crazy about, that you can't stand, that you hate. Doesn't matter. Tell them all to subscribe to the Geno Jones channel, like and share this and every episode, and binge watch. So I want to start off today's show. And shout out on Wednesdays, I call it Working Divas Wednesdays. Shout out to all my working divas watching. They've been working hard all day. I want to start off the show with some good news. The New York City subway shooting suspect, a black dude, like 62, named Frank James. He was arrested in Brooklyn today. They believe, according to the videotape and eyewitnesses and the people who were shot, 10 people were shot on a subway train in New York City yesterday, in Manhattan. The train was in Manhattan. You know, New York City, it's got like they call them boroughs, 5 sections. Anyway, the man is in custody, and apparently some of his social media posts is giving some people speculation that the dude seemed very troubled, that there were some mental health issues that have been unresolved. As a matter of fact, according to some of his social media posts, he addressed, I guess, the lack of mental health help, or the mental health help that he got was insufficient. So I'm sure you'll hear more about that. So just wanted to give you that information. Start off the show with some good news. And I want to shout out, since I'm shouting folks out, I want to shout out my Aries. Stand up. Aries, stand up. Still your time to shine for another 6 days. You know who's up next? Yo, Taurus. We up next, y'all. But right now, still Aries time to shine. So happy birthday to rapper Ty Dolla $ign. 37, man, Ty Dolla $ign is 37. Y'all getting old. Speaking of getting old, a native of Greenville, South Carolina, about a 3-hour drive from where I'm at right now, here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro, the ultimate crooner balladeer from the 70s and 80s, late 70s, early mid 80s, Peebo Bryson. Happy birthday, Peebo Bryson. Peebo is 71. You know, about 2 years ago, he had an incident, a health scare. I believe he had a heart attack at his house. And I don't know if he's married or not, if his significant other, his babe, however he refers to her, the woman that was there with him saved his life. So he got better. So shout out to Peebo Bryson. May God continue to bless and have favor on you and your health, my brother. Peebo Bryson is 71 today, like I said. And ladies and gentlemen, the man, the good reverend, but he is the soul man from Memphis, Tennessee. Back in the day, he had the album cover. Oh, he was cold-blooded. He was casket sharp. He was, my grandfather said, he was sharp as a tack. He was pimp sharp. Had on the white suit, all white, with the white shoes and the white turtleneck, and he was sitting in that bamboo chair. None other than the man that brought you love and happiness. Oh, yeah, I can hold a little tune a little bit. Maybe not as good as him. The good Reverend Al Green is 76 today. Happy birthday, Al Green. He is such a good brother. I got a chance to meet him. I worked in Memphis for about almost 10 years before I came here. I was there in 98 to 2005. Got a chance to meet him. Actually got a chance to host MC one of his concerts. He's a good dude, really good dude, really just kind of laid back, humble. But man, when he gets on that stage, it's a wrap. So happy birthday, Al Green, a legend, an icon. We got to honor, celebrate, and acknowledge our legends while they are living. So now let me shift gears here. Let me get into this monologue. Really, it's like part 2 from yesterday. So in case you hadn't heard, so Cam Newton was doing a video podcast. And so I'm going to give you the headline version. So he criticized women, specifically black women, but he criticized women in general who call themselves like the boss bitches, which is a term that a lot of younger millennial women use, and Gen Zers to say, look, I'm a boss chick. Some say a boss bitch means I'm taking care of my business. I'm doing well. I've got my career going. I got education, or I'm doing great on my job, or started a business. I got my own money, got my own car. Independent, really an independent woman. That's just me, just kind of break it down. But so Cam Newton was quoted as saying, okay, you're a boss bitch, but now I'm quoting Cam, but you can't cook. You don't know how to cater to a man's ego. You don't know how to let a man lead, and you don't know when to basically stop talking. You don't know his quote exactly. You don't know when to be quiet. So you could imagine, oh my God. Okay, all right, Cam. Let me just start off. Let me just go here, okay? So, this mentality is really an old school mentality. It's like, man, why are we going back to like the 50s? And in the 50s weren't really that good for black folks. Now, these traditional roles, we got to keep in mind whose tradition are we adapting or following? It was easy for, white families to have this, like, Leave It to Beaver. Remember that show? Now, I'm really dating myself. You see the reruns? Leave it to Beaver. Leave it to Beaver. Da, 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 da. So you had Ward and June Cleaver. And Ward, every day, he had a job. He had a suit and tie on. And June Cleaver, she was a housewife. But, Ward was, some kind of executive. He got paid well. He didn't have to deal with anti-blackness and racism. As a matter of fact, in the 50s, the 60s, the 50s, heck, they probably didn't even hire black folks where Ward Cleaver worked at. And if they did, they probably had to use separate, bathrooms and all that. So whose tradition are we trying to follow? So let's talk about that. Now, Cam, let me ask you, so let me just kind of set the table here a little more. So Cam, 32 years old, 7 children. I don't know how many different baby mamas, but his 7 children are not by the same woman. And he is not married any of the mother of his children. He has a right. Listen, everybody's not meant to be married. Everybody's not meant to be a parent. There are a lot of folks that have babies that should have never. Because one of the kinder things that my mother has said to people who shouldn't have children. Or I think my grandmother really said it first. Should have went fishing the day you had. I know mother's watching. Was that mom or was that you? That's probably both of them, because I'm sure my mother got it from I call my grandmother mom. She should have went fishing. She should have went fishing the day she had you. Woo! My mother's got one that's even more cold-blooded than that. I say that when I'm on stage doing comedy and I'm dealing with a heckler. It's the ultimate shut you the F up line. But anyway, so let's go back. So listen, Cam, I'm Geno. I just got a few things to say to you, a little advice. If you are looking for a woman who will embrace or is okay with a more traditional type, I'm just trying to come up with a word for it. Some people would refer to this, old-fashioned or traditional relationship. The man goes out and he works and he makes the money. And now keep in mind, you are an NFL quarterback. You were the most valuable player. Your team went to the Super Bowl. You made tens of millions of dollars. Now, the average black person, what you made in a year, the average black person, it might take a lifetime. It might take 30, 40 years. If they even ever get to the level that, you know, some years the salary you made in one year, there are a lot of people, not just black, white also, that may never make that money in a lifetime. So we got to keep it real. We got to keep it 1,000. However, if you are looking for this traditional relationship and you haven't found it, you know, you're 32 years old, you've had several relationships because you got 7 kids, and none of these women fit that criteria, or none of these women want that lifestyle, you got to ask yourself, why am I dating, and why am I having children by women who don't want the type of relationship that I want? At some point, Cam, bruh, you got to hold yourself accountable. Now, understand something. Women do the picking and choosing. Men might do the hiring and firing. But fellas, please understand, I don't care how fine you think you are. You can have a body like a bodybuilder. Listen, you can be endowed. You can be, you know, you could be like the porn star lover, Long Dong Silver. Is that what Clarence Thomas said he was? Long Dong Silver. You can have a garage full of, you know, Bugattis, Bentleys, Mercedes, Maybach, whatever. You can have all of that. You can have millions and millions of dollars. But at the end of the day, there's some women that's not going to be impressed with all that. So women always do the picking and choosing. Please understand that, because that's a fact. But understand, you played a part in that. So you got to ask yourself, if this is what I'm looking for, if I'm looking for a woman that's got these traditional values, you know, that's willing to stay home and cook and cater to my ego and don't know when to be quiet. But why do you want her to be quiet? And like I said yesterday, so what is it that she is saying that is getting on your nerves? What is it that she's saying that you want her to be quiet about? And maybe she won't be quiet because you won't listen. Or maybe you listen, but you don't hear her. Or maybe your behavior and your actions haven't changed. And she feels that she's not being heard or seen. So, partner, this is Uncle Geno talking to you, all right? A lot of this I had to learn myself. I'm fortunate. You got your mom, you talked about your mom and dad. They've been married for 36, 37 years. You saw your grandma. Now, your grandmother, times were a lot different. And, your mom and your dad's situation, your mom and dad are probably, if you're 32, they got at least, I'm assuming they at least got to be probably in their early, mid-50s at least. So, situation was a little different, but that kind of relationship apparently is working for them. But that's why I said this yesterday, that you need, everybody, men and women, you need to define the type of relationship that you want to have up front. Define the parameters of the relationship that you seek and desire to have. Have that conversation up front, even if it runs the person off. I'd rather run somebody away in the beginning than waste my time and your time. So you could have saved folks a lot of headache. And then you bring children into the world. I always say, choose your mates and choose your baby mom and daddies carefully. So I'm saying, so you got to look in the mirror, and you can't be selfish. Something else my mother told me. Just watching now. She's like, Jeannie, you can't be right all the time. It can't always be your way. Cam, dude, I know you star NFL quarterback and the world has catered to you because you were star athlete since probably, middle school? But the world don't revolve around you. It don't revolve around me. And you want a woman to cater to your ego. Are you willing to cater to the woman's ego? Because if you're going to be in a relationship, it can't be one-sided. Like I said, like my mother taught me. She said, she would say, Cam, you can't always be right. It can't always be your way. That's why you say a woman won't be quiet. Well, she probably won't be quiet because, like I said, she feels that you're not listening, or she's not being seen or heard, or your behavior and your actions that's causing conflict, she doesn't see any change. That's why she won't be quiet. Because whatever you're doing to cause her not to be quiet won't change. And are you willing to be quiet? Because, you know, there are times that, listen, you are a type A, I'm a type A too. We want to get the last word in. I had to learn. Big problem. Demirs will probably say, well, he really ain't learned. He really still hadn't learned. That's what my mother said. You can't always, Jeannie, you can't always be right. You do not have to always have the last word. Sometimes, you know, it's a saying, silence is golden. And a lot of times that is so true. The best thing you can do yourself is just shut up and be silent. But I know it's tough for us as men. You know, we have the male ego is, boy, it's a mother. It can serve us well, especially as an athlete, star athlete. Man, your confidence and your ego serves you well in competition. But outside of competition, man, your ego can get you in trouble. It can. And your ego can really harm other people. You got to know when to turn it on and cut that thing off, because it can be your best friend and your worst enemy. You can't always be right. So when it comes to, once again, being in relationships, you got to look in the mirror, men and women. If you have attracted a series of women in your life, or you ladies, if you've attracted a series of men in your life, and they've all had some negative qualities, you just gotta be honest with yourself, and you gotta look in the mirror and say, okay, wait a minute. What is it about me, inside of me? What is it that I need to deal with? Unresolved trauma, or whatever it is that is attracting me to people that are causing me pain, or that I'm really not, I'm not, what's they call it, equally yoked? I'm really not compatible with. Am I just looking at the outside and the surface, and yeah, they got money, but what kind of character do they have? Do they really share the same values? Do they share your worldview about life and what you want out of life? Are they selfish? Because let me just say this, okay? Took me about 3 decades, and I'm still a work in progress. Let me just say this. This goes to men and women. If you're getting in a relationship for you, solely for you, if one of your main goals, or your main and only goal, is how you can cater to my ego and make me feel good, that relationship is not going to work. All right? Because any relationship that works is successful. There are a couple things that's important. And one of the things is you can't be selfish. You cannot be selfish and be in a healthy relationship. It will catch up with you. It will burn out the other person. They'll feel unheard, unloved. They'll feel like they're not being seen, that they're being taken for granted for, that they're being abused mentally, emotionally, and they may be being abused mentally, emotionally, verbally, spiritually. It cannot be all about you. Because really, if you really love somebody, when you love somebody, it's not about making you feel good. When you really love somebody, that love is external, that you want what's best for that person. You want to be a vessel, not just to be a blessing, but you want to be a vessel to create a climate of peace and harmony and emotional and mental, spiritual and physical, and maybe financial security. You want to be the wind beneath that person's wings. You want to be that ride or die person. You want to be the person that they know, hey, this person believes in me. You want to be their biggest cheerleader. If you really love your woman and you believe in her, you need to bet on her, just like you bet on yourself, and vice versa. That's why I say it can't always be about you. if you are in a relationship just so it can benefit you and all about your feelings and your ego, then you really don't, you just need to, you need to have that conversation out front and maybe have a different kind of relationship. And if that person is cool with catering to your ego, and if somehow what that person wants and need, if you can provide that, good luck. But if it's one-sided, here's an analogy. Think of it. A bank account, a mutual fund. You cannot constantly take from a bank account, and if you are not making any investments, if you don't deposit and invest anything into a business or a mutual fund, you can't get anything out. And a relationship is no different. You have to invest. You have to work at it. You have to listen. It can't always be about you. Why would anybody want to be in a relationship where, you know, you don't want them to, you want them to be quiet? Really? Then what? That, you know, I just want you to cook and shut up, and then when I'm ready to have sex. You don't need to be married for that. You can hire a cook. You can go hang out, you know, at the strip club, or hire a professional, and there's no emotional investment. If you just really, now I'm just gonna break it down. I'm gonna go straight south side of Chicago, partner. You don't need to, then just have that. And if that's you, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want, but you need to be honest about it. And because you talked about, you know, being a real man would be honest about that. Say, hey, yo, I ain't looking for, look, I don't want to emotionally invest in any relationship. I want to find somebody that I'm compatible with sexually. You find that. She needs to know up front. Y'all can have that relationship. Have at it. Have fun like two porn stars in a movie. Hire a cook. Find somebody that maybe you guys have similar interests in terms of going to concerts or movies or plays. Or maybe you all like to travel. But just be a man about it. Tony Braxton had a song, be a man about it. Just be clear. And guess what? I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Here's a little game, partner. Check out my book, Game, Recognize, Game. You can order it. I know it's on Amazon, and you can order it on social media, Geno Jones. Game, Recognize, Game. It's an audiobook. So I recorded it in 2005. I published it in 2013 because I didn't know anything about writing or publishing a book. It's amazing, dude. When you are honest with women, in most cases, not all, but when you're honest with a woman, they respect you more. And you'd be surprised. Some things that you didn't think that you could get away with, if you straight up about it, you might be surprised. She's like, okay, hey, cool, I'm good with that. I'm down. I don't want any emotional investment. Hey, let's kick it. Let's kick it sexually. Let's travel. Let's hang out. Let's eat. Let's be business partners. Whatever. Just be a man about it and be honest about it. Now that's real. That's some real game right there, young brother. And all the young brothers and not so young brothers out there. So now, let me segue real quick. Black women, now here's some good news. Now, I know some of you all are going to be like, oh, Geno, you crazy. That's BS. It ain't no good men. All black men. Stop. Black women and black men. Stop saying all black men, or even most. Speak on the black men that have been in your circle of life. You probably had some bad relationships. Listen, I grew up. I witnessed one. I've been defending women all my life. I've been fighting for my mother since I was 4. She was pregnant with my baby sister, who's 5 years younger than me. And I was fighting a grown-ass man that was beating my mother. So unfortunately, she was unlucky in love. I know that's the story of a lot of women. But the good news is, women, please do not buy into this narrative that all black men are no good or whatever. And black men, you all got to do the same thing. Cam Newton does not represent the majority of black men. No, he doesn't. I know you're watching me, you're saying, Geno, you full of shit-ish. Yeah, I don't know no black. Well, just because you don't know any, don't mean they exist. Now I'm gonna tell you why that is in most cases. You know why? Cam Newton does not represent the majority of men. So Cam Newton's misogyny and sexism, it doesn't represent the majority of black men. But those majority of black men who are not like that, they don't get any attention. The media doesn't focus on them. The traditional media, you won't see stories on CNN or ABC. Lester Holt's not going to do a story, and Lester Holt, well, that's a whole nother situation I won't get into now. Don Lemon, you're not going to see any stories, or Rachel Maddow on MSNBC. You're not going to see it. You damn sure ain't going to see it on fake Fox News. If anything, you're going to see them reinforce this racist, anti-black narrative. And social media doesn't reinforce the positive, healthy relationships. Listen, there's a significant number of black men. Now, I'm speaking from my own circle of influence. I've been on this planet for 5+ decades. The majority of men that I know in my circle, relatives, cousins, I got nephews, brothers I went to elementary school with, high school with, college with, that I worked with radio and television, that I've been doing since the 80s. A significant number of black men love black women, support the black women in their life, believe in those black women, celebrate those black women. Now, teeth and tongue fall out. No relationship is perfect, but those healthy relationships, no media doesn't focus on them. And guess what? We, collectively, as black people, we ignored those relationships. We don't shine a light on them. We don't shine a flashlight, or they say, shine a light on them. It's a song for like the birthday song. It's the birthday for shine a light on them. We don't shine a light on those people. We focus on the dysfunctional, the negative, and the media damn sure does it because they have a different agenda. The corporately owned media, you have to understand who owns that, and their job is not to reinforce any kind of positive images of black people, especially black men. You know that's a fact, and I know that's a fact. Now, I could go on and listen, it's just a small number. Because, well, you know, all the athletes that I see and entertainers that's married to white women. Okay. So let's deal with facts right now, not feelings. If black men, it goes for you too, because like, well, you know, the new Supreme Court judge, Ketanji Brown Jackson, she's married to a white dude, and Kamala Harris is married to a white dude, and some of the other judges, black women that were up to be nominated were married to white dudes. Okay, I need you to breathe. So here's a fact. It's not my feelings. Here's a fact. The majority of black people are married to other black people, just like the majority of white people are married to other white people. The number is somewhere around 80% plus. The majority of black people are married to other black people. But we don't focus on them. People in your neighborhood, people you went to school with, you go to your high school reunion, right? I went to a virtually all-black high school. Now, I haven't been to my reunion, but you know, last time I went, folks that was married, their spouses were black. So the fact is, you focus on athletes, but you don't focus, if we're going to talk about athletes, I mean, from LeBron James and his wife, Savannah, to Dwayne Wade and his new wife, Gabrielle Union. Let me see here. Russell Wilson and Sierra. Yeah, there's a significant number of black athletes married to white women or non-black women. But there are a lot of layers behind that. But see, we focus on that. We we really don't focus on, like I said, the Russell Wilsons and Sierras and the other brothers who are not stars in the NBA and the NFL who are married to black women, but we focus on the ones that are not. And the media, they help us do that. You got Barack and Michelle, and you got Denzel and his wife, Paulette Washington. You got Samuel Jackson and his wife, and they've been together. She's been with dude. Sam Jackson would tell you. She was with him when he was down and out, because there was a while Sam Jackson had issues with drugs, and it got real bad. And he talked about how his wife saved his life. So the point I'm trying to make is that we don't focus on the positive images of black love. So black men and black women, this is my hope, prayer, and wish. And I'm committed to using my platform to promoting the positive, healthy images of black love. Because black love is beautiful. And I think about my grandparents. My grandfather was born in 1888 in a little small town, Yazoo City, Mississippi, near Jackson, Mississippi. And my grandmother was born, I believe, right around 1920, 21, in a little small town, Arkadelphia, Arkansas, that I think is somewhere near Little Rock. And everything that they went through, and they were in the South, and somehow they met up in, I don't know if they met in Memphis, and then my mother was born in Memphis, and she came, I don't know if she was a year old, they moved to Chicago. And they were literally together all their life. So my grandfather passed first, and maybe 2 years after that, my grandmother passed. So we don't focus on the healthy relationships. And I would challenge mothers, teach your son how to treat a woman. You may not be able to teach him you may not be able to teach him all aspects of being a man, but what you can do is you can teach him how to be a better man when it comes to a relationship. And fellas, it's up to us to do better and to believe in and bet on and build up our black women and reject the anti-blackness that's been taught to us by people who fear us, hate us, want to exploit us financially, sexually, politically, and who want to destroy us if we just really gonna have a real honest conversation. That's the honest conversation. So let's not focus on Cam Newton. Cam is 32, I got it. That's why I said, Cam, Uncle Geno, let me holler at you. Trust me. There was a time in my life where I'd say my motto was pimp or die. I was gonna have Team Geno. One woman that I was compatible with sexually, and another one that, maybe, we would have stimulating conversations, so mentally and intellectually. Another one that was really cool to hang out. One that didn't mind cooking. One that didn't mind doing laundry. But I knew how to do, the truth is, I knew how to do all that myself. So mothers and fathers, teach your son, tell him, learn how to cook or hire a cook. I remember hearing my grandmother and my mother say, they taught me how to clean up. They said, Jeannie, don't no woman want to be your maid? That was their quote. And I heard it over and over. Jeannie, don't no woman want to be your maid. Learn how to clean up for yourself, clean up behind yourself, wash your own dishes. Don't leave any dishes in the sink. Learn how to cook. I told the story last night. My grandmother taught me how to fry chicken wings. That was the first thing I learned how to make. I was not even in high school. I think maybe 11, 12, something like that. And I learned how to cook, because maybe 12, 13. Because my sister under me, I asked her to fry me some chicken wings. She said, you got to pay me $25. My grandmother, she got upset. Jeannie, come in this kitchen. I'm going to teach you how to cook for yourself. You snap. These lazy, trifling heifers don't want to do it. But my grandmother, she was okay with that. But my grandmother did work. And then when my grandmother had my mother, for the most part, my grandmother stayed at home. And not only did she raise my mother, but then I was born. My mom was still relatively young. So really, my grandparents became my parents. But she was okay with that. But my grandfather, he revered my grandmother. Even when they when they hurt his feelings, and I got his feelings because I can get my feelings. Only with people that I love and that matter to me. The rest of y'all, I don't really give a damn what you think. You're insignificant. I don't mean that in a negative way. I just don't care about what you think or feel or say about me, as long as you don't put your hands on me or anybody that I love. I don't care. I don't live to please other people. I pray that God will use me as a vessel to be a blessing, but your opinion, thoughts, and feelings about me are insignificant. I don't lose a second of sleep. The only thing that causes me to lose sleep is to worry about my family. That's the only thing. I don't even lose sleep about, my career. I'm good. I know who I am. I know my talent. And I got the receipts to prove it. So I don't trip on that. I'm building my media business right now. But let's bet on each other. All right, just make sure that don't buy into and believe and bet on like I said, the anti-blackness and the racism and this whole prism that we look at. Too many of us as black people look at other black people through the prism of hate, racism, bigotry, white supremacy, which I don't like that term because nothing's supreme about white supremacy. This whole concept of whiteness, which was made up, and I talk about that in the first place to my white brothers and sisters. What does that mean? Are you white? When you get a DNA test, does it say that you are white? No, it does not. White people that look like you, who had power and political, economic, and financial power, made up this construct, this concept in the late 1600s to pit poor and working class white people against poor, working class, black people, and other people of color. So they could distract the poor white people and make them think the reason that you don't have as much money as me is because of them. In the meantime, they have created laws and policies, and they have an ideology. They don't really give a damn about poor white people. I told you, I've been in conversations. You wealthy white people look down at poor white people, even more than black folks, because their attitude is like, well, listen, we know we brought you all over here to work for free. You all weren't even considered full humans, or humans. The original Constitution said you were 3/5 human. So the game, we didn't design this game for you to become millionaires and own businesses and become successful. We brought you all over here to provide free labor to generate wealth for us. But us was not these poor and working class white folks. No, they weren't in the club. We don't want them in the club. But we had to let a few in, just to kind of trick them and make them think, yeah, you could be here too. We ain't let a few in. But we got less respect for them because our attitude is, hey, if you look like me, you're not successful like me, something must be wrong with you. Now those are conversations, plural, that I have been in with white men specifically that have said as much to me. I was like, wow, y'all got some issue with y'all, okay. And I thought it was just black folks. Y'all really got some issue. So you got to understand the game. So we as black people, we have to stop buying into the anti-blackness that was taught to us. I'm going to close by saying once again, black men, black women, let's truly celebrate each other and root for each other and bet on each other and believe in each other and lift up each other. And let's shine a light on the positive relationships and talk to people who have been in relationships, and they'll tell you it's work. You got to work. There is nothing in life that you can be successful at that you don't work at. and maintain long-time success. You could fall into stuff. Some people can give you some stuff. You can do very well for a minute or 2 or 5 or 15 minutes of fame, but it will not sustain itself unless you put in the work. And a relationship is no different. And if you're not willing to put in the work, if you're not willing to emotionally invest, then don't get in it or get out of it. And be honest and be clear. Define the parameters of the relationship. Define, talk about, say, hey, this is the kind of relationship I want to have. What do you want to have? We see things the same way, cool. When it changes, hey, you know what? I was riding with this, but I ain't feeling this. Okay, it was fun. Keep it moving. It ain't hard. It's really not. It's not hard, y'all. Okay? So black women, that's the good news. Okay? And black men. There's a lot of, but men and women, we have unrealistic expectations. We have the checklist. Well, I want a man that, he got to be 6'5" and, like 6-pack and have $100 million and be like this porn star, super lover, long dong silver, and he got to have, 2 or 3 mansions, and he got to be willing to take me shopping, every other day, and we taking trips. But you got to ask yourself, for men and for women and for men, or for men and for women, because men have these unrealistic expectations of, I want a woman to stay home and cook and clean, and I want her to cater to my ego, and I want her to be quiet. Really? So here's the challenge, ladies and fellas. Write down that checklist of everything that you want in a woman or in a man. And when you write it down, I want you to look at that checklist and ask yourself, if somebody gave you that checklist, how many things in that checklist could they check off for you? So if you have a checklist of 20 things that you require, and if somebody gave you the same checklist and you couldn't check off one, then you out of bounds. How can you expect something out of somebody when you can't even meet those standards or that criteria yourself? You got to be realistic about it. Go back in the lab, step up your game. But you can't want to operate at this level and you still working. You ain't there yet. So hey, and it don't make you less than them. It just means you got work to do, because they could be here and they could slip to here. Shout out to everybody that is in my chat room. Hello, Christina. How are you? Hello, mother. My number one fan, my producer, my mom is watching. Yes. Oh, she said, happy Al Green. Happy birthday, Al Green. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life as always. God bless each and every one of you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones channel. If you're watching, you probably already done that. But here, you know what? Let's make this message, and I'm not just saying it because I'm promoting my own show, but look, I am in business, and the main reason that I do this is because I want to entertain and inform and have content that's relevant, entertaining, funny, informative, educational to as many people as I can. And I absolutely are unapologetically pro-black. And being pro-black doesn't make me anti-white. I love humans. I'm a human being. But I am pro-black because this world that we live in has been anti-black for centuries. And if I can't celebrate my culture and community, and if I can't love black women and have a love, the agape kind of love for other brothers, and want them to do well and want to bet on them and to have positive words and encourage them, then that says something negative about me as far as I'm concerned. All right, it's strength in numbers. I want everybody to win. I especially want all black people to win. I do. That's just me. Because like I said, that for centuries, the world, this country, has done everything they could. They have created laws. They have codified laws and created public policy that still exists in many forms that are anti-black, that suppress the greatness, and it stifles the creativity and the freedom, and it has really denied us our economic power. We've created communities like Tulsa, cities, neighborhoods and cities, thriving black businesses, Wilmington, so many historical cities, just that whole red summer of 1921. They destroyed, you had white people who didn't have as much as the black people in that Greenwood section of Tulsa. They were envious and jealous of these black people. And they burned it down and they bombed it and they killed black people. Theaters and banks, hotels, all kind of thriving businesses. So do not get me started on that. I got many back episodes where I have that conversation. So we don't celebrate each other. I have a feature on the show. I say celebrate and support black-owned businesses. Somebody jumped in my chat room one day and said, support white-owned businesses. I said, guess what? We as black people, collectively, we have supported white-owned businesses for 402 years in this country. We supported white-owned businesses for centuries, for a long time. We couldn't even own businesses. We had no other choice. And then when we created businesses and they were successful, they were destroyed, burnt down, bombed, or laws were created that destroyed neighborhoods, built interstate highways through successful black business districts, created laws that made it tough for especially small, medium-sized black-owned businesses to stay in because the whole gentrification. We've got some developers that's come in and they, those buildings, those new businesses, the value of those businesses are praised so high that black businesses and homes in that area, the people can't afford to pay the taxes, so they're forced to sell. Man, please don't get me started because this is the end of the show. Thank you once again for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central, 3:30 p.m. 3:30 p.m. on the West Coast. I'm just slowing it down because I'm so amped. Please do me a favor. Please share this episode with everybody you know. But please share this sisters, black women. Share this episode with your moms, your aunts, your sisters, your daughters, your sorority sisters, your girlfriends, and men, brothers. I want you to do the same. Share this with your sons and your grandsons and your nephews and your fraternity brothers and sisters, the brothers that you watch the game with, you go to gym with and get your lift on. Or you play cards with it, all of that stuff that you all travel with. Please do that for me. The majority of black men really do love black women. And the fact is, the majority of black people are married to other black people. So let's stop being a mouthpiece for the anti-blackness. We got Fox News for that, and Newsmax, and all these social media sites. We have enough anti-blackness, and we have enough black people who are mouthpieces for anti-blackness and bigotry and racism. Clarence Thomas, Herschel Walker, Tim Scott. I'm just saying. I'm just keeping it 1,000. So we got enough black people who engage in anti-blackness and spew and get on camera and repeat the same racist narratives about other black people. Like there's some special magical Negro See, I'm different. I'm not like them, but they are like that. But look at me, hey, I'm your special, I'm your non-threatening Negro. You have nothing to worry about from me. That's out there. And it's up to us. We can counteract that. And that's why it's important that we as black people own our own media. They say the winners get to write the history. Well, it's enough of us that are winning. Did you know that 1 in every 50 black people in America today are millionaires? I'm gonna say that again. 1 in every 50 black people in America are millionaires. Over 70, about 76, nearly 80% of black people, around 80, close to it, don't live in poverty. But the narrative that you see on TV, all black people live in poverty, they're in the projects and hopeless, and they alcoholics and drug addicts, and none of the men take care of their children, and all the women are just loose and sleep around. We didn't create that narrative. Other people created that narrative. And why do you think they did? All right. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check him out on Instagram. Check out his work. You see his work right here. But check out his work on his Instagram page. Kel Be Cutting Up. KELBECUTTINUP. Allie Jones and Bruce Gage, the official stylists and wardrobe consultants for the Geno Jones Show. Lexi on Instagram. She is Lexi with 2 X's. LEXXIE _ That's the line below. Lexi with 2 X's _ line below. Nicole _ second line below. Designs. Bruce Gage. Search Bruce Gage on Instagram. It's Miglio di Mario Uomo. It's an Italian name. MIGILIO DIMARIO UOMO. All right. MIGILIO DIMARIO UOMO. Check out his collection. Check out Allie Jones's collection, her drip. And Bruce's collection, his drip. Spectacular. I love each and every one of you. Once again, thanks everybody. Hey, Brandy. What's happening, Miss Brandy? Thank you for jumping in, Brandy Davis. She been down from day one. One of my biggest fans and viewers. Back in the day, we went to college together. How you doing? Hello once again to Christine, was it Halberstram? Habersham. I think I'm pronouncing it right, Habersham. So hey, Christina, how are you? And mother, you know I love you. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be tomorrow, Thursday, because Good Friday is Friday. So we made this observing the Easter holiday, or Passover, as some people call it, weekend. But you know I love doing the show, so I really want to do it, but I'm thinking about, observing the holiday. So definitely tomorrow, the next live edition of the Geno Jones Show, 6:30. Please, once again, ladies, sisters, please tag, share, email this show to everybody, all the women you know. Like I said, it's good news, black women. The majority of black men don't think like us. Just we out there. It just may not be the dude that you would normally choose a check for. You might see him in the club, in the grocery store. He may not have all that other stuff you're looking for. And men, the same way. Let's change. It's our narrative, damn it. We get to change that. Don't let somebody else's perception of you become your reality. You get to determine who you are. You get to dictate, this is who I am. Now, if you see me as somebody different, that's a you problem. But I'm not going to let a you problem become a me problem. So let's see each other, and let's see each other's greatness, and let's celebrate it. Let's bet on it. Let's build it up. We're going to be good. See you tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. As always, let me just say one more thing. Be blessed. Thanks for watching.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.